Hello everyone and welcome back to COM 121, Introduction to Mass Media. This is Professor Harris, and today I'm going to talk you through everything you need to know in doing your Adobe Express assignments, especially assignment number 1. So let's get started by making sure that you have 5 selected images you're going to use for your collage project. I have my assets here. I've got all 5 images I intend on using in a folder on my desktop so I don't lose them, and I can import them easily. Next, you're going to launch a supported browser for Adobe Express. I have found personally that although Safari and Google Chrome are both supported, Google Chrome is far superior. The Safari load times are horrible, so do use Google Chrome. Firefox is not supported. So I'm going to pick an account here real quick as I get on my Google Chrome, and I'm going to simply type in the search bar Adobe Express. This is going to take me to this search bar. I'm going to click the first link, and that will take me to the Adobe Express website. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create an Adobe account, and that starts by hitting this upper right button here saying sign up. And then we can choose one of these options. For you, you'll want to hit continue with email, and then it's going to, for some reason, snap to sign in when we need to create an account. So go ahead and click create an account, and this is where you'll put your university email. I'm going to put in a personal email because I'm just doing that for the sake of this tutorial. But again, you should be putting in your own. Let's see, what do I want to make this? Cool. And I'll hit continue. It's going to ask for all kinds of personal information. You can give it bonus garbage, but I would advise you to give it your actual information, because if you plan on actually using this account, that would be a good thing to do. So it's going to ask you all these personal information questions. I'm not going to save my sign-in. And boom, we've officially created an Adobe account. Now, do remember the login information for your Adobe account, because you'll need to use that again in week 5 to purchase the Adobe Creative Cloud. But for now, we're going to work with Adobe's entirely free program, Adobe Express. This is Adobe Express. This is the splash page. And I apologize if it looks any different to you. They just keep updating this. Since I started teaching this class, they've updated it at least 3 times. So here we are with this version of Adobe Express. Now, to start our project, we're going to want to select a template. You don't want to do anything video related. We're looking for something more photo related. But I would start by clicking this big plus button here, and then you can choose from your drop down. Be aware, again, if you click things like Instagram Reel or Instagram Story, those are the proper dimensions for that, but they're also still videos, like TikTok video. For our purposes, I'm going to select the poster option, which is 11 by 17. Alright, so this is what you're going to see. This is the first thing you're going to see when you drop into your first Adobe Express project. We've got essentially a blank slate. And so why don't I talk you through the different tools as they appear here on the left. First is the general search. This gives you options for templates and photos and videos. Yes, you can add videos and audio to your project. I would prefer that you not, simply because this is image based. I'm not looking for videos. We've also got icons and shapes, and these can also assist with impressing upon us who you are. So let's search. We also have your stuff. This is just previous projects and or other assets that you might have saved to your Adobe account. This will become relevant more if you work in the future with more Adobe programs. There's also templates, and this is where I recommend that you start. You can scroll through these templates, find something that you like, and then use these images and replace them with your own images. But while also still editing, I'd say the overall thing to give it your own style and flair. I'm going to show you how to do that in a little bit, because I actually saved one of these templates, and I'm going to use it now. So I'm using something called the Brown Prince poster. So let me search that. Brown. Let me spell Prince poster. I'll hit search, and it's down here on the right. So this is the one I'm using. So it's going to come up, and boom, there it is. So now I'm going to start plugging and playing with this and editing the different elements. Before I do, let's finish going through this list. So templates, you just saw I selected a template from the list. Again, you've got tons of templates to choose from. Please be aware that everything that has this little crown on it is premium and therefore is money. You have to pay extra money to buy Adobe Express Premium. It is not by any way or any means a requirement for this class, so please don't purchase that. There's so much you can do in this program without purchasing the premium version. There's also the media button. The media button does very similar to the search feature, except it includes more specific tabs. We have photos. These are different photos you could add. You can also text to image generate. I would recommend that you don't do that. And you can also upload images from your own device. So if you hit media and then photos, you can upload your own pictures. We also have video, again, very versatile. You got all kinds of options. There's actually really cool videos in here. But again, this isn't a video project. And audio options. At the end of the semester, you have the opportunity to choose this as your last project, this program as your last project of choice. And if you want to go crazy with sound effects and videos, that's perfectly fine with me. But again, for this project and for the next 3 projects, including this, well, 4, including this one, we'll be using photo-based media. We also have the text option where we can click to add text, and then we can choose even one of these different styles. There's tons of different styles. There's tons of different font options. So go crazy there if you'd like. There's also elements. We can include brush strokes. We've got like synth wave things. We've got frames that you can add to your pictures, illustrations, overlays, textures. So let's say I wanted to make a picture look particularly grainy. I could add this texture and blow it up, and then yes, the wall paint is gross. So all kinds of options there. All right, let's talk about just kind of plug and play now. We've covered all the basics of what you can add. Let's talk about what you can do. So one of the first things on the right side I should point out is that this project has layers. Each one of these elements is its own layer. So this image is its own layer, this image is its own layer, this text is its own layer, and each one of these can be selected and deleted appropriately if you'd like to. You can delete elements from anywhere on your project by selecting it and then hitting delete. For instance, I've got this kind of picture shutter frame outline that I'm not interested in keeping, so I'll go ahead and select it and then hit backspace or delete on my keyboard. Now I've got this text element, which I also don't want, so I'll hit delete on that. If you want to select multiple subjects or objects at the same time, you can click to one and then hold shift on your keyboard, and that'll select both, and then you can move them both at the same time. I'm going to undo that now. This is a very important feature as well. This is the undo button. You can also hit Command Z if you're on Mac or Control Z if you're on PC to undo any changes. So let's say you accidentally grab all your stuff, actually move it off center. Oh no, my whole project is ruined. Nope, you can just hit this little undo button right here. Cool. So let's get into changing this and making it my own. First, I'm going to select this text. When I select the text, you can see on the left side here a bunch of new options become available to us. We can change the font. We can change whether or not it's bold, light, thin. We can make it italicized, underlined. We could left and right justify it. We could adjust the kerning. We could even change the opacity to make the text see-through. So we've got all kinds of options. We could flip it. We could rotate it. I mean, it goes on and on and on. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click the text, and that'll allow me to edit it. So first you'll select it once, and then you can double click it, and that'll give you the ability to highlight all the text and edit it. I'm going to make this Professor. Now it's bleeding off the page a little bit, so what I'm going to do is, again, double click it, select all the text, and I'm going to change the font size to 125 to bring it down just a little bit. So now it says Professor. Now I'm going to edit this text, double click that, make this say Harris. Cool. So now I've got Professor Harris has entered the chat. I'm going to move these elements together like I showed you earlier. I'll select one, then hold shift and select the other one, and I can slide this up and to the left a little bit. Something like that. Cool. Now, I'm going to start replacing these images. This is a pretty easy thing to do, but first I should show you some ways that you can manipulate an image. You select an image, you can grab any one of the corners to resize it. So if you want to make it bigger or smaller, you simply drag in and out. If you want to undo those changes, again, Command Z. You can also select down here and rotate the image if you want to be kooky and silly. And then having the image selected obviously brings up the sidebar, which gives you even more options. You could make it, you could decrease the opacity, make it see-through. You could crop it. There's a few ways you could crop it. So let's say I'm not trying to imply things about these two women, but I could make a heart. I could crop this into a heart image, and that would do that. So I'm going to hit Command Z, and then I'm going to, I can move this around. I can recrop it so it's only that. There's plenty of options here. When you're in the crop feature, though, what you can do is you can resize the crop. So I could make a custom adjustment on this and say, that's exactly what I want, but it's not. So there's some features with that. Additionally, we could hit this. We could flip the image back and forth. We could flip it upside down. All kinds of stuff. Now, this image is grouped, and this is a big note to take as well. Sometimes the templates will have assets that are grouped together. You'll need to select them, and if they say they're grouped, you'll need to ungroup them. And now we can see that this asset is connected to a shadow underneath it, and I don't need this shadow, so I can delete that shadow. There's two of them. I'm going to delete that shadow as well. And now this image is free from being connected to those other images. So to replace this image, though, with one of my own, I can select it and then come up here to replace and then upload from device. And then I can choose one of my images. I'm going to choose a picture of me as a baby in a diaper feeding horses. My brother and I had snuck outside because we were silly little babies. And my mom snapped this picture, and it's become an iconic image for my family. I'm going to make it a widescreen crop, and then I'll move it up just a tad to something like that. If you want to adjust it a little more specifically and it's like snapping all over the place and it's obnoxious, you can hold it, or you can select it and then use the arrow keys on your computer to bring the image up, down, left, or right. So that's nice for small adjustments. All right, bear with me while I replace all these images now because I have no use for these. Replace, upload, and my son. Do replace, upload my professional photo. And then if I wanted to add some more images, what I could do is simply open the folder where they're located. I could select them, I think it's these two, and then I could throw them onto the page. So it would be good to get all your images out and then start rearranging them. That helps with orientation and really just keeping things clean. I'm going to increase the head height on this a little bit, and I'm going to bring it, make it a little smaller, grab the corner, pull it up just a tad, try and get similar spacing between these things. I'll adjust the cropping on this image as well. Make this smaller, put this up, maybe decrease this image. Nope. Just the side. A little smaller. I'll move. I got too many elements on my page. Let me increase it to match that, and then I'll increase the size of this to match that. Now these don't line up. If you drag select, you can select multiple objects at once and then adjust them at the same time. So that's a nice feature as well. All right, I'm gonna move this to the right side. I'm gonna move this to the left side. And I don't need this text. I'm not premium quality. I'm just a professor. So I'll delete that text by selecting it and hitting delete, while also deleting these drop shadows. I don't need these drop shadows. I'm going to edit this to be widescreen. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. Pull it up. Maybe something like that, and then decrease the size of this. Maybe make it wide enough to see both of us, but small enough to fit in the same dimensions as this. So double click that, do a custom crop, drag and pull this down, and drag and pull this up. And we'll stop it there, at least where it looks even. Cool. Now, this is a good start, but I'd like to add a little more character to this, and I'd like to see yours have a little more character than this as well. And that starts by going to Media, and I am the video editor on campus, so I'm going to make sure I'm selected on, oh, no, I need to go to Elements. So make sure I'm on Elements, and then I'm going to search video editing, and there's these little computers here, and I'm going to select one, and that's going to add it. I'll put that over here on the left side, and then I'm going to add another one, and you can see I've already searched these earlier. We'll do camera. I did like this one from earlier as well, so I'll shrink that down a little bit, and I'll slap that here. Now, because I'm into cinema, I also like film reels, so I think those are cool. So maybe we add this one, and I'm gonna blow this one up, make it much bigger, then I'll rotate it. It's 90 degrees. Stick it in there like this. Make it even there. And go to the bottom or not. What I could do is make it smaller so you can actually see the little clips, and then I can hit Command C to copy it and Command V to paste it. So now I have a second copy, and I can bring this down and connect it with my other reel. Cool, so now I've got two there. And you can also select the object, and you can hit this little button here. That will also duplicate it. So I'll duplicate this one, rotate it, and then I'll bring this to the bottom, and I'll do the same thing again, duplicate it, and bring that over. Cool. There we go. So that's essentially my idea of what a decent project looks like. I'd like to see you go further beyond, do a better job than I did. And oftentimes students do, and I'm very impressed, and it does a fantastic job communicating who you are to me and your fellow students. The last part of this is downloading the image. So the way we're going to download this is we'll just hit this download in the upper right, and we're going to ensure that the format is set to JPG, that's JPEG, and I'll hit download, and it's going to download it onto my computer. It'll appear here or in your downloads folder on your computer, and you can bring that image then to your desktop. So now I've got my image saved here on my desktop, and the last thing I need to do is post it to the Canvas Assignment 1 discussion board. So let's do that. Let's go to, there we go, port.franciscan.edu. That's what you want to head to. So now I have to sign in. Close your eyes. Cool. Now I gotta text myself. Oh boy, I'll be right back. Okay, we signed into the port, and now we're gonna come over to, mine says faculty and staff, yours will probably say student. You go to Canvas. This is the first time I've signed in, so it's gonna hit me with all these things. You go to your section of COM 121, then you go to week 1, or whichever week pertains to this project. Then we'll go to Assignment 1, Profile Picture Collage, Adobe Express. Awesome. And then you will hit Reply down here, and then after you hit Reply, it'll give you this window. You're going to select this little image icon, hit Upload, and then you'll select the image from wherever you've saved it. So I've saved mine to the desktop. So I'll hit Open. There's my image. And now I'll hit Submit. And then the last thing you have to do, and this is a good thing to do, is make sure that the image isn't obnoxiously large. This is a good example of obnoxiously large. So you can drag this down, make it a little bit smaller so people can at least see it on their laptops, and then go ahead and hit Post Reply. And we'll see mine gets added, Professor Harris, and we are all done. You've finished your assignment. If you guys have any questions ever, do not hesitate to email me. Feel free to even leave comments in the section of this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Bye.